a sacrifice seduced for the altar of your vanity. A jealous, hungry God, craving praises of profanity. With bedroom dark and dine, and a deep mouth stained with wine, it drinks its fill. It was your mothers, not your brothers, that agreed to feed you poison. This egregious lack of choice indeed seemed fit to join your voice in, with lies disguised as prizes of reason and wisdom, with briberies of finery to weaken any criticism. Can the fly invade the blossom that devours it? A mouth that lies in wait for a gift of life to shower it.
We'll get started then. Given the fact that we are down a couple of people and with all the New Year stuff going on, I figure we'll do something not heavily plot intensive or anything like that. So this is a little side session I like to call the Magic Carpet Ride. This takes place at some point during the brief time skip that we had. So it'd be 90 BC, coming up into early summer, some point, June, July timeframe. We open up with the session. During the day, a letter is delivered to Albina. It is sealed with the seal of Helena, lately of Pompeii. The letter opens up with some rather effusive language, very flowery. It goes on for quite some time before she eventually gets down to business, talks to you about how recently some Romans have been coming down to Pompeii, bearing clothes and fabrics made of the most marvelous material. Something similar to very dense, fine wool, or some sort of marvelous type of cotton. Obviously, it's not native to either Greece or Rome or Italy. Some imported somehow from someplace. And she greatly desires to speak to the merchants who produce such material, and to speak to those who would weave such marvelous cloths out of this material. She asks you, Albina, to arrange this in repayment of the favors to which you owe her. She will have a messenger there in Rome for about a week. If these men or women prove, if money is a obstacle, that the messenger will provide enough money to them. However, they need you to find them and convince them to go to Pompeii.
Mhm. She's going to proceed to share the news of this letter with the rest, with Dortmund and Labiana. Mission text. She has contacted by Lady Helena, asking for a favor of her to repay the boon, uh, arranging a meeting between merchants of a new type of cloth and one of her envoys in the city.
Yeah, it's all on you guys. So, how do you respond? Do you
Oh.
do you do you dare to say fuck that girl?
I mean, I don't think we're that silly. So, Well, I guess we should, what's the word? My brain's not working right now. We should humour her.
Sure, I understand she's going to be footing the bill on this. All that we need to do is ensure that we find a merchant that is pliable enough to meet with her in Pompeii.
Is this new material really as good as she says it is?
It's apparently very out there, very popular among some of the travelers that have been coming to Pompeii. Some of the Roman travelers. Apparently something that does not matches any form of wool or cotton that she has ever seen before.
Well, I guess it'll be worth checking out to see if it's as durable as some of these existing materials.
Let us begin by checking the night market then. Need
Sounds
to,
like a
if nothing else, we might learn someone that knows the name of this material.
good place to start.
Okay, so which market are you guys headed to? Because there are several.
One of the upper classes one, sounds like it's something that is novel and new, something that likely be being traded into the patricians of the city.
And
Excellent
potentially
choice.
expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the Forum Cupidinis, that is the market of luxuries, would probably be your first stop. So, make a D100 roll for me, please. You want to roll over a 25.
Would you like me to roll, Labiana, or would you like
yeah.
you to roll?
Whichever. You guys make the choice.
Nice.
Excellent. You have a uneventful trip through the winding, dark streets of Rome. Let's see what the weather's like. Just out of curiosity. It's misty, foggy, a little bit chilly outside. Not a lot of people on the streets except for those who have to be, those living and dying, unfortunately. You make your way into the Forum. As usual at night, there's not very many people that shop this area at night. So a number of the more permanent emplacements, market emplacements, are closed up, barred up. There are a few tents and stalls open, just for those families and such who need every bit of income they can get. Some food, a few things like people trying to hawk pet animals, dogs, birds, even a few nice luxury weapons and stuff, saying, hey, come by such and such blacksmith, we'll be able to hook you up, all that kind of stuff. So and of course there are those out restocking, so people unloading supplies into buildings due to the ban on wagons during the day in the streets.
Among these merchants, among these people, does she see any of them that seems to be carrying something new, kind of be wearing something that she's not familiar with?
No, they all appear to be dressed in standard work clothing. The merchants themselves, the ones out on the street in the tents and stuff, are dressed in what you would consider to be fairly well-off attire, because appearances are, of course, everything, but not anything unusual. Make a perception plus commerce roll for me.
Yeah. I was just going to say, do we otherwise see any of the markets themselves that have those noticeable? Well, I don't know about how they would have displayed them back in the day, but like I don't know if they would have had the material rolls or any such thing like that,
Well,
and whether we'd notice if any of them are a little more unusual.
that's what
And
we're going
nothing.
for here.
Ah,
One success. There are some thread vendors, wool vendors, and stuff out here. Carpets, wonderful pattern scenes. They all appear to be the standard carpets, though, but they might be your first stop to Attok.
She's going to be approaching one of them.
Right? They. Madam, please approach. Come, look at my wares. I have fancy rugs for your hearth, rugs for your door, rugs for your bedroom. Blessed they are, woven with spells to ensure fertility, good births. Please come, come. Is there anything I can show you?
I have been attracted by stories that I heard from some of the other other patrician women. They speak of a new kind of cloth, something that is novel, something that has not been seen before, neither in no corner of the or in no corner of a great nation.
She gets this look across her face. She spits on the floor. She's like, "Oh, well." And then she like makes a conscious effort. You don't need that stuff. That foreign influence that comes from over across the from the east or through all those traders and stuff. You don't need that stuff. You have good Roman goods right here, right in front of you. And she's like making a conscious effort to sell you on her wares.
She's going to buy. She's going to grab one of the carpets, look it over, and offer to buy it.
Excellent choice. This one that you hold in your hand was woven by my youngest daughter. Finished up only a week ago. Nice and fresh in your hand, never used. About 2 denarii.
She reaches over to pay the woman.
She makes the silver disappear.
Very expert craftsmanship. Your daughter has a bright future ahead of her. Now, as beautiful as this is, I feel if I had to put it within my bedroom, it would be lacking companionship. It would need something else to go alongside it. Something perhaps from the east.
Well, like I said, you don't need that. Let me show you something woven by my oldest daughter here. Goes well with the theme that you've chosen. Used wool from merely only a few miles away from here. A family farm we've had dealings with since my grandfather's time. And she's still like starts picking the carpets up and trying to tugs one out to show you. It talks about its craftsmanship and the knot work and things like that.
Yes, this is all very beautiful, but I need something that is going to be in contrast with the expert craftsmanship of your daughter. Something that shows exactly the decadence that hovers outside of our borders, something that shows what our legions protect us from.
She puts stuff back away. She realizes she's not going to make another sale here, and she's just like, "Well, I'm sorry, but I'm can't talk to you about that nasty stuff that they don't belong here, and they are disgracing us by allowing their goods to be sold here in our market. And she gets this look on her face, this kind of twisted jealousy, almost. Because she knows it's good stuff. You can tell on her face it's good stuff. It's taking her customers away, and she hates it.
Alvin sighs and glances to the side to Laviana, a look of frustration forming on her face that likely be familiar to Laviana at this point before she looks back at the woman and dominates her. You are going to show me to the merchants that carry this ware.
She points down the street, third building, look for the foreign symbols.
She nods and proceeds to head the directions given to her.
Labian will follow.
I assume Androdimus is close behind as well.
Yeah, sure. He'll probably come on with something, yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted right now.
That's no problem. You guys make your way down the street. It's a corner shop. There's no tents in front of it. The street is kept clear. You can see there's poles and stuff set up for when they bring their stuff out to the street. They have a permanent spot right there to put it. But right now there's nothing out. It's a standard building. Looks just like everything else on the street. Probably constructed at the same time. Appears to be made of brick or stone of some type. It is all closed up and dark. There are strange writings in paint across the door and across the lintel at the top of the door on the door frame. Writing you've never seen before.
Oh, I was about to ask if either of us recognized any of the symbols or even
not at all. But Androdimus,
whether they'd be occultic.
Androdimus might actually. I will roll for him since I don't see him up in.
Oh shit! I knew I was forgetting something as well. If you could roll for me in the meantime, that'd be appreciated. I will get to logging on now.
You are very distracted.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good. No worries. That's not a bad roll for you. He's going to be rolling intelligence plus academics.
Just to be clear, you're rolling on my sheet, right?
Alright, well, one success. Androdimus, you've seen this writing before, but it's been so long you can't quite place it. But you know you've seen it. Far from the east. You just can't place exactly where or when. And I don't think you ever learned how to read it, but you would recognize it if... But you do, you're like, I've seen this before. Way to the east as I was traveling over here. You can't quite place it. But it's from the east of Greece, you know that.
Yeah, this is far, far east. Possibly clan homelands, possibly even further. Hard to say.
Interesting. So I'm guessing there's no one inside.
Well, there's no lights anyways.
I'm just going to look over to Androdimus, raising an eyebrow of curiosity at his familiarity to the letters. Would you know this name of this cloth that we are looking for? Are you familiar with this description?
Nothing immediately came to mind, but let me think on it a bit. Can I make a roll, see if I recall a name being mentioned in passing?
Yeah, it'd be like wits plus crafts. or hearth
So-
wisdom if you have anything related to weaving or fabric making, anything like that.
Base diff. What would the base diff be?
6.
Okay, so it's gonna be straight wits, diff 7 then.
Yeah.
Nope. I have no idea what the fuck it is. I think it might be some kind of cotton.
It's fucking magic shit, man.
Yeah, Andros just shrugs. Beats me. It could be magic for all the fuck I know.
I see. Alvina is going to walk over to the door. She's going to knock on it.
It is locked from the inside and nobody answers.
She's going to step back and she's going to proceed to start looking around. There seems to be any windows.
There is no windows on the ground floor. There are windows on the second floor and the third floor. Third floor windows are open. Second floor windows are shut, with shutters that you close them from the outside and you drop a piece of wood or something to bar them shut. Standard construction. Nothing surprising.
Would she be able
Are
to
there-
toss?
Go ahead, Labiana. You were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to ask, were there any lights, no matter how dim, coming from the top floor?
No.
In the open windows? Okay.
Would she be able to toss a rock or something else in one of the shuttered windows?
Sure. Yeah. There's plenty of loose stuff. Debris lying around. You could pick something up and toss it if you wanted to. Dex and athletics. Standard difficulty. It ain't moving or going anywhere. So. All right. Yeah, you hit it. Something, pick up a stone or whatever, and it clatters off the shutter. How long do you wait for a response?
I'll say to about half an hour.
Okay. After about 15 minutes, you see a light flicker behind the window. Very dim orange glow.
She's going to call out. Wish to speak to you.
There is no answer.
Wish to establish a business proposition.
From the third floor, you see a face lean out and it says, "Come back during the day."
We cannot. We need to establish it now.
The face is kind of foreign, so it's looking down at you from a couple of stories up, and just says, "Well, that's too bad. Come back during the day. That's when my father is available to talk business." And then it peeks back in the window, hands reach out, grab the shutters, pull them shut.
She's going to think for a moment. She's going to scream out back to the top floor. We can arrange payment. It is a delicate matter.
Yeah, they don't respond. Although you will notice the light behind the second floor window has not gone out.
We are representatives of a wealthy patron. This patron wishes to see your business, your cloth, this magical cloth from the East, to become more prevalent among the people. Wishes to see it become more wide-reaching across the empire. Wishes to see it distributed in Pompeii.
After a few minutes, you hear some rattling, and the ground floor door opens, and a Roman man marches out. Um, he's wearing heavy winter clothing, which is much too heavy for this heat. And he's carrying a knife on him, as do most Romans. And you see there's activity in the dark door behind him. There's more people inside the building. And he comes out and he says, the master of the house does not wish to speak at night. If you wish, his name is Master Janesh. Master Janesh has no desire to speak at night. Night is the time for prayer, sleep, and repose. He asks you to come back in the morning or not at all.
I see. Would it be agreeable for us to send a representative in the morning?
That is acceptable, as long as they can produce payment and speak with your word in a legal fashion.
Understood. She's going to take a step back. Look over to the others, Androtimus and Labiana, see if they want to add anything.
No, I think we're good.
He looks at the motley crew gathered in front of him, the black-eyed silver with the silver streaked priestess with the strangely unsettling eyes, and the masked woman, and the only ordinary-looking person in the whole fucking group standing next to those two women. And he's like, "Well, very well," and he turns on his heel and goes back inside the building. Shut, barred. You hear it clattering down.
We know where to find this merchant now. We need to we need to get in contact with the agent of Helena and tell him of this meeting, how he is able to meet with him during the morning.
Indeed.
Did Helena gave us the identity of the agent that we have to meet with?
You know where he's at. He's staying at a upscale, basically what would be a hotel. There are, in fact, very few of these in Rome. Most of them, they don't really exist, except in a couple of spots. So they cost quite a bit of money to stay there. Usually you would stay at a rich, like, as like a guest in somebody's house.
How can I proceed to head there?
All right. It is a building guarded. They pride themselves on protecting their people. You are going to a different area. I need you to roll your D100 for me. Ooh, 10. That sucks. All right.
No, it's a D10. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, that's much better. Yes. Thankfully, in the past several months have been much calmer than they had in the past. So although you get a lot of strange looks, a lot of people who are obviously considering coming after you for what little you may have, they've decided that you're just not worth the trouble. You probably don't have enough to make it worth their time. So the three of you pass unmolested to the Aventine Hill.
This is probably partially to do with my eerie presence.
And make your way to this building. It used to be a villa, an estate of some kind. And to the open door where a man is standing watch. There's somebody deeper inside the building, hidden in the shadows. With your dark vision, you can see he's armed with a crossbow. just making sure if anybody tries to muscle their way through the doorman that they'll be met with a crossbow bolt straight to the heart. So you come up and the man stands there. He's dressed in rather nice clothing, but he's ready for violence, has his knife on hand, and you can tell he has some improvised shields and stuff next to him. He says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. How can I help you this evening?"
It is to meet with one of your guests. He is supposed to be waiting for us here.
Okay. Can I have a name?
She provides the name.
Right. He snaps his fingers, snap, snap, and a young boy rolls over from where he had been curled up on the floor, and he tells him to go and speak with the messenger. And he heads up, and shortly thereafter, the messenger comes down, rubbing sleep from his eyes. And the boy, you can see the boy comes up and hands him a glass of wine, so he has something to drink as he's talking to you. He's dressed somewhat sloppily. Obviously, you woke him up, so he's not 100% at the moment. As he stumbles to the door. Yeah, can I help you?
You are the one that represents the interests of Mistress Helena in this place, yes?
Yes, the great mistress sent me to deliver the message and to return with any responses as needed, and to give you a little bit of aid if you require.
We have located the merchant responsible for the cloth that she's seeking.
I'd be very happy with that.
He wishes to have a meeting during the day.
Well, I have enough money if it's a matter of money, but I believe she needed you to arrange that, as unfortunately I am no business negotiator. I'm only a messenger.
If it would be possible for you to meet with the man and to tempt him into breaking with his rules of not having meetings during the night, just once, so that we may speak directly to him.
He shrugs. He says, "Listen, don't take this the wrong way, because I'm just a letter carrier, adept at getting from point A to point B in very quick, safe matter of time. I'm no salesman. This is a man who, or a family, whoever, whatever they are, consortium, I don't know, who is selling imported cloth at presumably great expense to the elite of Rome, who can afford to holiday in Pompeii on a regular basis. Do you think that my mere words will be enough to convince him to abandon such a lucrative market and head to Pompeii? I don't think so."
Well,
No.
would you know of anyone who we may be able to?
Would that be
As though-
me?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was just about to say, would you happen to know of anyone that we could ask of to represent us during the day, as they refuse to meet with us at night?
I'm sorry, I'm not even a native of Rome. I don't, I'm here a lot, but, running stuff back and forth, but, I'm sorry, I don't really know the movers and shakers, you understand. Do you know, have contacts in the Senate maybe? He might budge for somebody if someone from the Senate puts in a good word for you.
If I may, do you need to necessarily make these deals entirely in person?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm talking to the rest of the coterie.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. Please.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, he
Misunderstanding.
backs off a couple of steps to give you guys a little privacy.
Do you need to? Apologies if elements of this slipped my mind, but do you need to meet with this man in person necessarily?
No.
Sure. Well then, surely at least one of you will have. I suspect at least one of you will have a mortal a servitor of some kind. You seem like the type to keep those around. Why not have them make the initial contact and then go from there?
The initial contact, yes. But they should be the negotiating part.
And at least appear wealthy. I mean, I presume if we put our heads together, we could come up with an ideal person to do such a thing.
Would we be able to hire a middleman?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some professional negotiators? Yeah.
Yeah, there's people who make their living, doing business deals. Probably mostly among the bankers. They do a lot of that kind of stuff, negotiating rates and loans and things like that.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I'm gonna suggest heading to one of them.
Okay.
Labian will then turn back to the agent and say, "Well, we will return when we have some further information for Lady Helena."
He nods his head. I'll be here and waiting.
Thank you for seeing us tonight.
He drains off his wine, hands the cup to the kid, and goes back to bed.
So,
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask what time of the night it was at the moment.
Probably about 11.
Still early.
Yeah, it's not quite midnight.
Would we be able to find one of the bankers at this time?
Yeah, they are mostly up on the Palatine Hill. Quite a number of them reside in that area, and they in fact have their own little corner of the forum there. So, and in fact, you guys, if you have resources, you've been to these people before. Just you have to have some way during the downtime of keeping up appearances and making sure your investments are going well and things like that. So, I know we hand wave that kind of stuff. We don't deal a lot with it, but you would be familiar with how to reach these people. And of course, everything's monetary based to them. Everything.
Yeah. Well, I'd say we should do what we need to do to contact these people. Let them know that we wish to speak with them.
Right? Well, how do you go about it?
Out of character, honestly, I can't remember.
I imagine we go to one that we are already familiar with. Most putting forward the money, saying that we used to hire the services as a negotiator for us.
Right? Well, I'm going to assume that you guys do this the easy way and have one of your herd arrange a meeting with the banker.
If he, yes,
Yeah, give him a silver piece, and he'll stay up late and meet with you guys. As I said, you guys definitely know some of these people. You've made it a point to keep up with who's in power there and who's not in power, and to avoid the most successful ones, because working with a successful banker brings scrutiny, and scrutiny is something you don't want, but you don't want to work with somebody who's going to rob you blind and disappear. So, this is a thing with which you have spent a considerable amount of time on.
Or perhaps worse yet, someone who will be completely honest about utterly squandering your fortune.
And be on the verge of committing suicide twice. So, you are brought to the household of Brillius, is his name. Brillius invites you in. Says, come in, please. Have a seat. Invites you to sit on a Greek couch. He's about middle level. He's not the most rich and successful, but he's got connections. Knows some people. Does decently well for himself and his family.
Abner strolls inside.
Please, can I get you some bread, cheese, wine, something to eat, grapes, figs, anything?
Thank you, but no.
That will not be required. We understand that this is a unusual time for you to be up, and we do not wish to take any longer of your time than what we need to.
Right. You notice that the area is actually kind of brightly lit. Several lamps and stuff. Make a courage roll for me. Difficulty 4. Not to flinch or like show that you're scared of the fire. All three of you guys as you come in.
I was gonna say, we're all gonna have to do it, aren't we?
Difficulty 4, did you say?
Yes, diff 4.
Courage, wasn't it?
Yep. All right. Yeah, you all. Andronimus is a little hesitant, but he could probably put that down to like nerves, because Andronimus does not look like a businessman, not like somebody who'd be comfortable in this setting. So, yeah, he's got pretty sharp eyes though. He sees, and so he's eating some grapes as you guys talk, spitting the seeds out in his hand and throwing them on the floor. Says, so, what brings you at this time of night to my place?
We had need of your services. We understand that you are very capable in arranging business dealings, as we have know from personal experience. We'd like to hire you in that capacity, to be the middleman for something that we are looking to achieve.
Okay. And he yawns in character because it's late. Well, what do you need me to negotiate, and what's the price range?
We need to negotiate the expansion or moving of a trader that deals in this new magic fiber, magic cloth from the east.
Oh, the silk merchant. Oh yes, his products are very popular. Going to be very difficult to arrange.
And Smith gives that sort of snap of his fingers when he hears the word silk. That I thought I'd heard that somewhere. There we go.
Yes, his wares. I know exactly what you're talking about. His wares are in extremely high demand. It's going to be very expensive. to convince him to cease his trade, even for a few days, to head to another city.
Money itself is not an issue at this point. We need to ensure that he's going to be able to provide the city of Pompeii his materials to make them help them become popular there.
Albina, roll a straight intelligence roll, or intelligence with academics actually at a difficulty 6, as you're attempting to remember intelligence or alertness. Actually, intelligence plus alertness to remember exactly what the messenger said. 0 successes. Okay, well that sucks. Roll again, one more time at diff 7. Hey! Helena did not ask to have his business expanded. She wants to talk to him. Big difference.
Money itself is not an issue. We just need to ensure that he's going to be capable to head to Pompeii and meet with one of our associates there.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I will need a lump sum fee of money that I can provide as a show of good intention and good faith. And of course, I naturally will get a percentage of this fee to act as your middle person. Let's say I can't tell you exactly what it is, but subject to change. Let's say, can you provide the sum of 100 gold pieces to me within 2 days?
That can be achieved, yes.
Out of character, can it?
Yeah. Just to put this in perspective, the average person in Rome, your average middle class person, makes 2.5 gold a year. So he just asked for enough gold to support approximately 40 people for a year.
From what I remember, Elena is very rich, and I doubt she's going to be.
Oh yeah, she won't bat an eye at this shit. But I mean, like any normal person would be like, "Holy shit, that's a lot of money." And you, as I said, your lack of reaction tells him something. It tells him that you are not gambling with your own money. So I will. He waves his hand, and a servant comes in, carrying a document. This is a legal contract that empowers me to act as your agent in this matter. I will this empowers me to keep a sum 15% of all monies paid during this time I'm negotiating with you.
That is agreeable.
So he hands it to you guys to sign.
Abner signs her.
Right. He says, if one of you would sign it as a witness, please.
Labian will do so.
Labian signs it. Brillius signs it, and his wife comes out and she signs it. And he hands it to her, and she takes it away. It's like, wonderful. Claps his hands. A celebratory toast. And he raises his glass, and he realizes none of you have one. Well, a toast in spirit, anyways, to a profitable endeavor.
Indeed.
He just smiles because he just made 15 gold for the promise of trying to talk to somebody. He's in a good mood.
Labian will give a slight head nod.
Abner won't even pretend to follow along.
Well, he toasts his own success, drinks to it. You, I assume, will arrange to have the messenger receive this request for money
Yes,
and get all that set up.
yes.
Um, Albana, did you read that contract, or did you just sign it?
She read it.
Oh, I was gonna say we probably should have read it before we signed it.
That's okay. It was one of those. It's got slapped down in front of you. You're like, all right, cool. Dip it in the ink. Sign, 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 sign. Sign, 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 sign. Here you go. Yeah, he had some legalese in there, but unfortunately, you guys didn't take the time to read it and understand what the hell you were signing. So, not going to negatively impact you, just for the record. But there's a reason he was so fucking happy.
Oh, he's basically managed to without even realizing what he's doing. He's going to have swindled a Methuselah.
Well, the contract basically said, whatever earnest money you guys give, if it doesn't take that much, he gets to keep the extra.
He's going to stay. He's going to keep whatever is left.
Yep, he keeps whatever's left.
So yeah, it's a minor thing, but he's literally like scheming out a Methuselah of her pocket change, which is kind of impressive in a way.
So, that business is concluded. Where to next? That's the merchant.
That's it.
Now she wants to talk to the weavers, who the ones who are working with it.
I'm guessing we would have provided all the details of where to find the shop and who to speak to, etc.
Yep.
But she also
That's the merchant presumably taken care of, assuming this guy's any good at his job.
now need to find the weavers. They should be in the weavers from what we understand that there is to the east.
Ah, true. The ones that actually weave the cloth.
Mm. She's going to, well, now that she knows the name of the product silk, would she be able to try to see if there are any weaving houses that work with silking around?
There are indeed. There's in fact an entire guild of weavers. Unfortunately, you had the one guy who could have got you in there easily murdered. So, yeah, would like you to roll your intelligence plus crafts plus contacts. Oh no. Oh, it's not a botch.
Failed.
Not a botch.
It's not a
failure.
botch.
Yep.
Yeah. Just,
The only thing you remember about the weavers and is that they're in a district. A great number of them are in a district near the Tiber, in the northern part of the city, to the north of the Aventine Hill. That is somewhere between the Aventine and the Capitoline Hill, and that they're also there with the Tanners. So the Tiber takes a bend around Rome and flows north for a bit, and then turns southwest to flow to Ostia. And in that spot where it in the north western corner, before the Tiber turns to start heading to Ostia, that's where the tannery district is, because they need all that water to help flush the smells and the crap out.
Heading there then, I imagine.
All right. Roll me a D100, please. Very nice. You guys are doing well. Last couple nights, no troubles whatsoever. You head down. You can tell you're approaching it by the smell. The smell of tanning, leatherworking, dyes, the stench, the steam coming off of their pots, the factories of dyeing wool and all this stuff. Lines several city streets in this area. The stench is horrific. The people who live here are absolutely living on the bottom end of Rome. Just because the smell alone would be enough to make a rich person vomit. It is horrific. So you were making your way through the masses of the street, the tents, the people sleeping on the ground, the factories. They are several of the buildings are still lit from the inside. People are working in them, or cleaning up, restocking for the next day, what have you. So there's a good amount of activity around still.
Does any of these shops that are cleaning up looks to be one of the weaver shops?
It is pissing rain and foggy. There are a number of the factories themselves. These are either dye shops or tanning shops, leather shops. They haven't made it quite to the weavers just yet.
Okay, I presume we'd continue on until we start seeing the weavers' shops pop up.
All right, yeah. So you make your way all the way down a couple of streets. You start circling the blocks, up and down, up and down. Eventually, you do find several rows of weavers. You recognize the tools, the baskets of material and stuff coming in and out. So you have found the district.
Amongst the materials that she sees being worked on, does any of them matches the description that she got for the silk?
No.
Do any of the shops look more foreign than the others?
It's a very good question. Roll your perception plus alertness or intelligence plus alertness.
Okay.
Auspex will help here if you want to use it.
Oh. Yeah. Oops.
It's alright. Well, you got a shitload of successes, so. One particular spot catches your eye. And it catches your eye not because of what they're doing, but because of who's around it. It appears to be guarded. Like most of these places, there might be a son or a slave, just making sure nobody breaks in. This place appears to be like guarded by professionals, former soldiers, men scarred, strong, on the alert for danger, know what they're looking for, and can handle themselves. So you definitely see one spot, a very nice building, appears to have nice clay tiles on the roof, or possibly slate instead of the usual like mud tops or wood. Well-made exterior fastenings. The door is thick, and you can see lights on the inside. So people are inside working, but there are people outside as well, on the roof and at street level.
Well, upon noticing this, Labiona will get Orbaner's attention and point towards the building and say, I believe this looks like a good place to start.
That it does. Let us see what they have for us. Abner starts approaching.
If you start walking to the door, of course, one of the men immediately gets in your way and says, "Sorry, by orders of Master Kardok, they are not to be disturbed."
Is there a negotiator, someone that can speak for them while they work?
I'm sure Master Kardok will be available if you are willing to wait.
When would they be available? When would they be available?
I don't speak for Master Kardok. I can't tell you. I can only tell you that he likes to work late at night, and if you're willing to wait, his time schedule might allow him to talk to you.
I see. Is there a way that I can arrange a meeting with him? Someone that I can speak with that just speaks for him?
If you're willing to wait outside and not cause trouble, I will have somebody go inside and let them know.
She nods, finding that to be reasonable enough. Find that to be she does too.
He knocks on the door, and the door kind of cracks open a little bit, and they exchange a few words. And about 10 minutes later, he comes up, he waves you guys down, and he says, Master Kardok says he'll be available in about 2 hours.
Abner sighs, the idea of having to wait for a mortal, the idea of having to make her time based around his, but she nods. Then we are going to wait.
Right. Long, boring hours go by. Nothing to read, nothing to do. Not even a deck of cards to pass around and play. Just standing there, shooting the shit and passing the breeze until some amount of time later, the lights begin to go out in the building. And the door opens and a slim man comes out. He appears foreign. Appears to be from the north. Yet dressed in Roman fashion. Shock of curly brown hair. He's got a little bit of a beard to him, which is strange in clean-shaven Rome. And he's followed out by a couple more bodyguards. So you're looking at probably 6 humans in the street with him. All men who look like they know what they're doing. And it also appears as if a couple of them have pulled out some crossbows from underneath their cloaks.
Abner gets up as she sees the man approaching.
So
You are the master.
he stands in the street in front of the building. You don't recognize him. You guys have never seen him before. Actually, Androdimus. Perception plus alertness, please. Or intelligence plus alertness.
Interesting. Difficulty?
6. You're poking at your memory. You've seen him before, but you don't recall where or when. You have seen this guy before, and you know he's a vampire.
Oh. Androdimus pauses a moment, but doesn't say anything, keeps to himself as he tries to think about it more. Lets others do the talking.
So he stops in the street, giving his men with the crossbows clear line of sight in case they need to protect him. And adjusts one of his men puts a heavy cloak across his shoulders. He adjusts it, fastens it, takes his time. He's clearly enjoying his moment of power. Oh, and then eventually, he indicates that he's ready to talk to you.
Abner approaches, giving the man a nod.
He stares at you as you're, and like stares at you. Roll your wits plus occult. Labiana, you can do this as well. Albina, yeah, not enough successes. You've seen this look before, but you're not sure. Might be your imagination. Laviena, you're pretty sure he's looking at your soul, reading your auras. You can't be sure of it, but the look in his eye, you're like, I've seen that look before. I've given that look before, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, you're pretty sure. So, what are your current moods? The three of you, Albina. What's your current major emotional state?
I say that her major current state would be some amount of annoyance and anger at the idea of having been made to wait here for 2 hours.
Okay. How about you, Laviena?
Labiena's probably indifferent for the most part, probably a little bored, to be perfectly honest.
Makes perfect sense to me. Andronimus?
Calm.
Yeah, this doesn't really have much to do with you. You're just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he is staring at you, and he kind of blinks it off as you get close, and he smiles.
I understand you are the master of this place, yes?
Oh, yeah, I do claim it as part of my domain. Yes.
Your domain?
Yes, my domain.
I see. Would she be able to make out that he's a vampire with that?
Yeah, roll your perception plus awareness. Oh, yeah. It clicks. The staring, the slight pallor to his skin. He's not really breathing on this cold, misty summer night, you know. He's not shivering. There's no indication of temperature affects him. Yeah, you're pretty damn sure.
That's not all that this place has claimed. Well, pleasure to meet you. I fear that I am yet to make your acquaintance. I am Albina. And you are?
Albina, you are... well, my name is Kardak.
We have a desire to find one of the weavers that have been working on this new material from the east. This silk, from what I understand, is called.
Marvelous material it is. So soft, dense. Color, if you dye it correctly, shimmers in the light. In fact, it changes shade. Wonderful material. Amazing. Sent from the gods.
My friend here, she looks over to Androtimus, claims that it's magical, that it is imbued.
That was more a speculatory thing, but I mean, for all I know, it could be.
I enjoy it. Andrado starts sputtering. I never said that! Kardak just nods. He says, I do believe this. The gods blessed us with with this material, and It should only be worked by one whose talents are deserving to work with such a God-given gift.
Talents that are very rare to be found, I imagine. Talents that are meant that if anyone in your city would have, would be people under your employment.
You are correct. It is rare enough that I felt it my duty to place them under appropriate guidance and protection.
Would you like to have one of those uh, weavers that have been blessed with the ability to manipulate such fine fabric uh, to go along with a messenger of ours to Pompey to have a meeting with of one of our business partners?
I'm sure you do, but there is quite enough work to keep them busy here for several years. You're gonna have to offer suitable enticements.
I doubt that money is an issue for you, for one that has been managed to collect uh, such fine workers onto his service. So I imagine you'd like to receive something else as payment in order to have one of your weavers made available to us. Yes?
Well, money, yes, but also, as is common amongst our kind,
Boom.
goodwill and favors.
Would a minor boom and and the promise of a major boom should any harm come to your weaver be enough to earn his presence in Pompeii for some nights?
I think not. Those who are working with this material have all the orders they can handle, and it's time-intensive work to take off, even for so short a time as to travel to Pompeii and back. And that is assuming that once they reach Pompeii, that this person or persons allows them to leave. It would put them behind their commitments.
Oh,
I will need time to make right any such delay in the delivery of goods already promised.
out of character, would it be worth mentioning who it is that wishes to meet with them?
The question is two questions there. Number one, will he believe you? And number two, will he believe that you could speak for this person, even if he did believe you, and could promise favors in her name?
And would he seek to take advantage of us if he knows that we have such powerful backing?
That's if he did believe us.
Yes. Perhaps it would help to assuage your mind, to ease your worries about the fate of your weaver if you were to accompany him.
No, I believe I'm needed here. Must keep an eye on my domain, and you know, must work to protect it, lest what happened to poor Gulzar happen to me.
Well, I mean, unless you're able to send a couple of your bodyguards with him to ensure his safety, enough that you're able to part with for such time as whilst he's on his travels.
Hold on a moment. Chris,
Yes.
was he at any of the meetings?
No.
Okay.
No,
Just
he's definitely loyal, but he's just not like he's not super experienced and age. He's definitely younger than you guys are, or younger than Albina and Labiena, anyways.
Okay, just had a thought.
Such fine fabrics, not only do they deserve only to be worked by the most proficient in weaving the magical properties, so too they deserve to only be worn by the most worthy, wouldn't you agree?
Only the worthy
Not,
can afford them already.
but there are degrees of worthiness, degrees of greatness. Not, not every patrician is equal. Not everyone that has money also has the prestige that would be demanded to properly wear such fine work. Wouldn't you agree?
I believe that if you have the money to afford it, then you have the prestige to wear it.
How about the prestige of late Helena?
Let's see if he even knows who she is. This is gonna be diff 8 for him. Roll perception plus empathy for me. You see his eyes widen a little bit. The name rocks him at the implications. So he doesn't say anything as he's trying to figure out if you're just bluffing or not. So at the moment, he's quiet.
There is a potential for arrangement of all these fine silks to be made between one of your weavers and someone in the late Helena. I'm sure that you understand the implications of this, the possibilities that this opens, not just for your weaver, but also for you as the owner of this fine establishment, this fine domain.
All right. Roll your manipulation plus politics.
I'm going to Zayu power on this.
Okay. All right. His eyes kind of narrow a little bit as he considers your words. And he says, while she would indeed be a fine patron, I find it difficult to believe that she would get agents to negotiate for her who could not prove that they were her agents.
I believe that in the past she gave us a signet ring of hers, yes? Or am I confusing her with someone else?
No,
Yeah, no, I
you
was
never
gonna
got a
say-
ring from her, I don't think.
But do we have anything
Out of
that
out of character, something I will bring up. Well, actually, first off, a question. Was there only one copy of the contract?
Standard things. They'll make a copy and have it sent to you guys. It's kind of standard.
Okay, so we don't have a copy right now.
Correct.
Okay, never mind then, because I was going to say, I mean, you know, there aren't that many people who can just afford to throw out 100 gold on this kind of thing.
We also do have the letter that Helena sent us. If we
Yeah,
could,
that would have her insignia on it, wouldn't it? Or
Yeah.
would it?
Question is, since he didn't buy your argument the first time, you can try it again if you produce the letter.
yeah, she's going to show him the signature of the letter.
All right. Make your roll again. Manipulation plus politics.
Using another willpower.
Okay.
I'm gathering none of us can help with this.
None of you guys have said you were trying. You've let Albina be your spokesman the whole time.
I didn't know if we could help with a role like this one.
Confusing talk. You can like over talk him, right? He's softened, but he's still not convinced. He doesn't want to accuse you of forging it, but he doesn't want to accept it as real yet either.
Well, okay, knowing that, at least Labiana knowing that she's recognized him using the ability to read the soul, she'll perhaps turn to him and say, well, also knowing that humans around, she's going to have to be careful about how she words this. Is there a means with which you could perhaps look at this a bit closer?
He just shakes his head. He says, seals can be faked. I have never personally seen her stamp. Letters can be forged. But it would take a very bold person to suggest or to do such a thing and thus incur the wrath of someone so powerful. So he's obviously trying to talk it out, right? So he's got doubts, but just the mere fact that you're like, oh yeah, Helena sent us, he'd be like, oh, do I believe them or not? Because, like, that's a bold claim and a dangerous claim if they're faking it.
Well,
So he's not quite convinced, but he's on the fence. We'll put it like that. He's on the fence.
we would not suggest it otherwise.
Let me ask you something. Details about Helena's deeds and beauty. Are you aware of them?
Oh, who has not heard of the tales of the face that launched 1,000 ships?
Then perhaps you would believe me if I had to provide you with a. If I had to prove, then you have by looking at me, you believe me that I come, that I'm sent from her. For after all, isn't after all, wouldn't she only send the most? Wouldn't she only send the most striking person to represent her? And who would be more striking than myself, even if I am but a pale shadow of her own beauty? She's trying to use her own. She's trying to use her own beauty to try to sway him, seduce him into believing that she might be even perhaps related to Helena.
Roll your appearance plus. Ooh, boy, that's a toughie. Let's go with, because it's not a lie. You're just padding the truth about her using appearance. Yeah, let's do appearance plus subterfuge. He looks intrigued. He says, this is maybe not the most convincing argument I've ever heard, but I find it difficult to argue against the message that you have provided me. I suppose I could arrange for a visit, but I will need some assurances. I will need, to start with, the promise of a favor of, first, I will require the sum of 50 gold to be delivered to the weaver's house here to accommodate for the delay in production of promised goods. I will require a minor boon from you, as you have claimed to be her messenger, and if she were not to release my my weaver, that will escalate into a major boon. And I will require a further 25 gold to provide for her safe travels.
Yes, that can be arranged.
Well then, I call this a bargain well struck. Do you all agree?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Androdimus, I don't believe you're officially part of their coterie, if I'm not mistaken. I recall meeting you at some other point when you were a client of Valerianus.
Yeah, I currently don't have that much to do right now, so I'm just been tagging along for the night. Does he seem to have a particular reaction towards me?
No, not at all.
Hmm.
So you don't consider yourself to be part of their coterie for this matter?
Not entirely, so... I guess we'll say no, just for the sake of keeping it simple. Is that a problem?
No, not at all. For my personal ledgers, just making sure I know on whom to keep track.
Fair enough.
So I will hopefully see the sum of 75 gold tonight, or tomorrow night. And within a week or so, or perhaps two, should be able to arrange to send someone on their way. I will need, of course, a destination, code words to pass along, that sort of thing.
That can now be arranged.
Well, let's call that a bargain then.
Lady Helena will be most pleased.
Thank you for your time.
Fates be with you.
Right. The Weaver house by this point in time is well locked up, secured, and they stand around and wait while you guys walk away. I'm gonna make sure you leave the house alone.
So would we have enough time to sort of go back to the messenger's house just to quickly pass on what just transpired?
Yep. Roll a D100 for me one last time tonight. One final time. All right. Yeah, you walk out of here, and the stench of the tanneries just seems to cling to you. Just even walking through the neighborhood has odorized your clothes with the sense of piss and brains and chemicals being used in the process. You head to the hotel, and the man comes out again. Well, waving at the... He waves a cup of wine away. He doesn't need that right now. Big dark circles under his eyes. It's like, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm awake. Yeah, I'm awake. Yes. Okay. I'm ready. What do you need? What can I do for you?
We arrange weaver that can head to Pompeii to meet with your mistress. Abner is then going to hand him over the conditions that they are given, the amount of money that they are going to be required to pay the. I believe it's Carnavas, the name of the guy.
Cardoc. Cardoc.
Yes. He's under the employment of Cardoc. That's the amount of money that he's going to be required in order to allow him to be let go for a meeting with Helena in Pompeii.
Cardoc and Bilius is the name of the banker.
Yes.
He's like, oh, man. I might have to draw on that letter of credit she gave me. That's a lot of money. I need to go up and count it and see what all she left me with. Okay. Well, it's not your problem anymore. I will arrange for payment. Is that it? Right? That's it?
I believe
so.
that's all.
Okay. I'll let you know if she says anything else.
Thank you.
About a month goes by, and a few days before you guys depart to go help Labiana's sire, the messenger returns, and he says to you, he says, yes, Mistress Helena has a response to you, Albina. Says that you and Labiana are expected to pay a visit down to Pompeii at some point, and to bring poetry, songs, and such entertainment as you can in repayment for spending a significant amount of her money.
You will bring the finest that Rome has to offer her.
He just doesn't even blink. He just says, I will relay your words exactly, and I believe she will expect it. I think you may have just promised more than you could provide. Okay. That's going to be another side session, I think.
I'm excited for that.
So, the finest in a realm of poetry, song, dance, and possibly painting. That's a little difficult to provide.
Have to
Helen
hope
I know.
that
in a personal visit.
Alexander and Flavia can help with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
might
know
be
hearing that Lubian is. Yeah, Lubia's going to be like, ugh, boring.
boring. Boring.
Oh, and one of the I'm not sure what Flavia's rating's like, but the other I'm fairly certain co-member with highest expression is still out of commission.
I mean, if you want to understand, Astartes is also capable of song, yes? He
Yeah.
plays flute, yes?
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah.
That ends today's session. Pretty short, I know, but fortunately, you guys didn't get any fights, and you didn't put your foot in your mouth too hard on some points, so, you didn't offend anybody enough to get violent, which is a damn good thing.
Always.
I'm just imagining somehow we all die before the session. Then we have to just utterly redo the timeline for last one.
So, that being said, what I would do is I'd be like, oh yeah, they waited until you guys were out in the wild and then sent assassins after you. That's how I would handle that.
Abner decides to just try to kidnap one of the weavers from the other vampire.
About next game, I did mention that this is your chance to visit the Selassie because you guys are headed into the Alps.
Yes.
So, I'm not sure if you guys brought Hatchet's body with you or not. Perhaps packed on your own cart. But if you are planning on making a little detour to that, you need to make sure you let me know.
I mean, if we knew, did we know roughly where the Selassie was located?
She is
Like a general.
She calls herself the Voivode of the Alps. Astartes, of all people, vaguely knows how to get to her.
Okay.
If you have asked him, and I hope you guys ask him in character, he'll tell you it takes once you enter the path to start, it takes between 1 and 2 weeks to reach her. Time gets funny. Not time itself, but it became difficult to estimate how long things were taking. Then that's part of her protections. Her magic does that. It screws around with your sense of perception and distances and things like that. And that's just part of how she protects herself. So maybe 2 weeks to a month. If you, of course, you always have the possibility to hit her on the way back, as well. But if you are going to go see her, you need to talk to Astartes, because there's some prerequisites that you will want to be aware of. That's all I got. Everybody gets an experience point for tonight. 3 of you guys do. Thanks for playing. I know it wasn't a super intensive, long session tonight, but, had a couple people missing and didn't want to do too much plot-wise. So, we did this. So, is there anything else you guys want to do? I mean, I got plenty of time, so if there's anything you want to do individually, we got plenty of time to do it.
I actually need to drop out now, so I'll catch y'all later.
All right, later. See ya.
Good night.
See you next time.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything, then we'll go ahead and close up shop. Call it a day.
Yeah. I was about to say I don't think I have anything.
All right. Well, I'll see you next game. It'll be on the 15th. You guys have a good one. Have a good
Good night.
rest of the weekend.
No worries.
Yep. Night. Bye.
See you then.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That about does it. Short session tonight. Didn't even make it to break time, but that's okay. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for sticking with us. Once again, I hope you guys all have a great evening.